You are now listening to WSN, Wolf Sports Network, live from the University of West Georgia in Carrollton, now an Odyssey station.
Live from Carrollton, Georgia, this is Sports Pack.
Home of the hottest takes and the best interviews in college radio.
Hold on, wait a minute. We need a little more energy. This is Sports Pack. Yeah, there we go.
Home of the hottest takes and debates.
There is no way I'm going to sit here and roll with Jared Stidham and Aiden O'Connell.
Richard.
There's just no way.
And the best interviews in college radio.
This is five-time Olympic medalist Alana Myers-Taylor.
This is Super Bowl champion quarterback Brad Johnson, and you're listening to Sports Pack on the Wolf Sports Network.
And the Wolves play here.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to another fantastic Thursday edition of Sports Pack. I am your host, Richard Reed, joined today by John Halley, who's over here killing it on the board, Carly Pear, and Jackson Schrader. We got a special guest joining us a little bit later on the show, so stay tuned for that surprise. You may recognize him from our show that aired yesterday at 5 p.m., Sports Out of Pocket, so stay tuned for that. We also got a lot more. Jam-packed with a whole bunch of sports news, a little bit of NFL talk, some MLB conversation, and at the end of the hour, we will be making our Final Four and national championship picks. You do not want to miss out on how we think the rest of this March Madness tournament is going to play out. Wolf Sports Network cannot succeed like we do without the community and our supporters. Westwood's apartment support of our success and experience has been instrumental in what we've been able to get done here. Westwood Student Living is offering a summer for free if you move in before May 31st. For free. More information is located at livewestwoods.com. That is livewestwoods.com. Now let's talk some UWG sports.
As Widener rolls to the right, he's got some time. Everybody's down at the end zone. He heaves it, and it is caught for a touchdown.
We are one. Go Wolves.
Yep. And we have a lot of UWG athletics going on this weekend. Let's start with our baseball team, who will be on the road in Jacksonville, Florida this weekend with another 3-game ASUN series against the University of North Florida. First game will be Friday at 6:30 p.m., second game Saturday at 3, and they will end out the series Sunday at 1 p.m. Now, I'll just go ahead and open up the floor. Who wants to go ahead and tackle this first? What will our baseball team need to do to get back rolling? Dang! After a 4-game losing streak, starting with that loss to the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, they need to win. I mean, this is a big get-back series, right? We're going to North Florida, who's pretty darn good at baseball. I'm pretty sure most of the ASUN. I think it's a really good baseball conference. So
it is.
When you're looking at this series, man, if you go in there, even if you just get one, heading to Samford, like if you just get one win from this series, take it and run. Now, if you can win this series, get 2 wins, I mean that's huge. But really, just try to build momentum, because like this right now, like this is the first time I've been. I think we can say this far into a season, hey, we got a 500 team, right? This is a good baseball team. They've shown that they can pitch lights out when they need to. They can hit that ball when they need to. And so if they can just start to build momentum and just carry that through the rest of the season, that's really what we're looking for.
Yeah, and I really think the coach is really, really stressing this weekend series. I was walking back from the gym yesterday, and I took a photo on my phone, but there's a photo, it was practice, and it had Hatters up on the top, and it said Wolves on the bottoms, and we gave up I think eight runs, and it showed that basically coach was showing the point, saying, you guys did this, we have to be better, we made a mistake, we are a much better team than this. And I think coach is trying to make, like, we got to make a statement this weekend. We're not gonna let this, that 3-game series take us down like that. All right.
I'm with you 100%. They've got to get back right this weekend. We also have our softball team with some games this weekend as well. Another 3-game stand, an ASUN tournament play, this time against Jacksonville University. Those games will be at home, with the first game being Friday at 4 p.m., second game Friday at 6:30, and the last of that 3-game series, Saturday here in Carrollton at 1 p.m. Carly, walk us through a little bit of what we need to know about this softball team.
Yeah, so last night they had a doubleheader, which was a non-conference against Troy University, and I mean, Troy is an incredible softball team. I feel like they're really good at a lot of sports down in Troy.
Yeah, they are.
So in the doubleheader, we lost both games. First game was 9-2, and the second game we got run ruled 14-2. So we knew Troy was going to be a really good team, but I don't think we were really expecting an outcome like this.
Yeah, that was pretty rough.
I think the biggest problem that I saw when I was there was our pitching. In the very first, clearly, in the very first inning of that second game of the doubleheader, I mean, like, we let 2 girls walk.
Giving free bases.
Free bases, exactly. And Troy was really strategic about, like, stealing bases, things like that as well. So props to them for that. But I think we really need to work on our pitching as well as analyzing pitches from the batter's box as well. Those are definitely things we got to work on. But, I mean, it's Troy. They are really good. So I think we just got in over our heads with that one.
John, you're our resident softball expert.
I appreciate that. I'm looking at all the team statistics this year so far, and our lowest ERA for pitcher is 3.99. I mean, our team ERA is 5.73, and our wins to loss is not a good thing, so you're not wrong. The pitching, obviously, there is just – it is nowhere close, and when you're letting two batters walk in one inning, I mean, it's practically giving a good scenario to steal both bases and advance them from first, second, third to make the other team score just like that. And like you said, analyzing the why am I blanking on the
pitches?
The pitches, thank you. Analyzing the pitches comes down to a really, really huge factor because you don't know exactly what they're throwing. And once if you have an ace in there for the way they're playing 9-2, 14-2, it doesn't matter you're going to throw in there. They're going to have all that extra momentum, and it's just going to make it that much harder on the team to hit and obviously win.
Right.
Yeah, I think what this team really needs to do is just simplify the game. Yeah. I mean, we're coming up on close to a month since we've won a game. And that's really just like, you can say, oh, you got to do all this, you got to do all that. I think what they need to do is just take it a pitch at a time and just slow it down, simplify it, make it as easy as possible, and just try to get a win from that.
I'm with you all 100%. The main thing here is getting back in the win column, like Schrader briefly said earlier, and also like he just said, simplify it, understand what's going on with pitching, try to rectify these issues, and take it one game at a time. Because we got a really nice long homestand coming, 3-game series this weekend. Got I want to say what's that team again? I got Sanford coming in next week, and then another home series against North Florida. So they're going to be at home for a while. This is the perfect chance to get back in the win column, get a little bit momentum rolling before you get back on the road into ASUN play. Yeah. Now, before we move out this UWG segment, I'd be crazy if I didn't mention the fact that we have our one and only home track meet this weekend, the UWG Legends Invitational, starting Friday, April 4th. It will be an all-day event. Y'all know how track meets are. And then it will be concluding Saturday, April 5th, right here in Carrollton, Georgia. If you're in the area, bring your lawn chair. Be sure to come out to the track and field complex to check out our athletes. Schrader, I know you're into running yourself. You used to run a lot of cross country. Yeah. What are a few things you might be excited to see at this event this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, track's one of those sports where it amazes me why it's not as popular as it is, because you'll go to a track meet and it's just a fun environment, right? There's going to be food trucks, bring your lawn chair, you can pick where you sit, but what you really want to watch, right, are the relays. That's when you actually get that team atmosphere. And we're going to have some studs. I mean, you got Life University coming in, most likely from over in Marietta, and they are a track and field powerhouse in the state of Georgia.
See, I didn't even know that.
They're just straight chiropractors that are like, I mean, that's what they do there. So you really want to look for like Life University. We'll have some bigger universities there as well, but I mean, you're going to get to watch sprinting. Like, everybody realizes how fun track is during the Olympics. Yeah. So you're getting that for free here in Carrollton. Show up. It's going to be fun. Like I said, there'll be food trucks. So
I've been seeing everything put up like outside.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
They're putting up a bunch of tents and stuff right now. I'm just looking. I was like, all right, they came to play. Like, it looks really fun just from it being set up, and it's doesn't even happen until this weekend. So really exciting stuff.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be super exciting. If you're in the area, be sure to show up and show out for our track team. It's the one and only time you'll be able to see them right here on campus. In a couple weeks, they'll have the Georgia Tech Invitational in Atlanta, so you can go to that as well. But why don't you want to see our track team in the City of Dreams, Carrollton, Georgia, right here on campus? Like I said, if you're in the area, be sure to show up and show out for our girls and boys. They are here to put on a show. Now, I know we got some sports news on deck.
The Dodgers introducing Shohei Ohtani after signing him to a record-breaking contract.
Nick Saban is retiring.
Breaking news on Sports Pack. A lot has gone down in the NFL recently, especially a lot of contracts happening, a lot of guys getting some big paychecks. Richard, Geno Smith, walk us through his contract that just came out.
Okay, so let me pull this back up here. Geno Smith contract details. Because when I first saw it, I couldn't believe it. Geno Smith just signed a 2-year extension with the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but that is 2 years worth up to $85 million with $66 million guaranteed.
So everybody's just getting paid.
Dude, when I saw that, I couldn't believe it. These NFL teams are just giving out money at this point. But this just makes me wonder. Okay, so now they've locked in Geno for 2 years. What is the long-term plan here in Vegas? Because they got a few pieces. They've obviously got Geno Smith at quarterback. They have Brock Bowers at tight end, but they need a few more weapons around the offense. The defense is solid, not great, but solid. But what's the long-term plan here? Are they looking to go quarterback this year in the draft, maybe next year? Because Geno Smith is older. They only extend him for 2 years. So they're obviously looking to make some kind of moves, but now I'm just wondering what kind of moves are they willing to make here?
I don't know, because that's a lot of money for a bridge
It
quarterback.
really is.
Like, you could go get a solid bridge quarterback for a quarter of that contract. So I honestly don't quite know what they're doing. I mean, maybe like Pete Carroll has some ties with Geno.
That's what I was
Geno
thinking,
overlap there,
yeah.
but like, I don't know. I feel like maybe a quarterback next year. Like, say, I mean, I don't even know, honestly. It's a move I don't understand.
Yeah, I feel like as an organization, too, you're already raising the bar because Geno Smith, I mean, he didn't have a great performance last season, right?
I mean, he had a solid year. The problem in Seattle was he was solid. I'm not gonna say he was great. I'm not gonna say he was just transcendent, but he was solid in Seattle. Seattle had a big problem on the offensive line, so they really couldn't shine much. That's why that really talented team with all those big names couldn't really make waves in the NFC South because their offensive line was so bad and inconsistent. So Geno Smith is a solid quarterback. The Raiders going out to get him was a great move. I like them getting him. I also thought they were gonna get aggressive and go get Dak Prescott, but it's just very interesting to see next year's quarterback class It's one that's yet to be seen because there's a lot of guys in college football that are starting to make moves. Obviously, Carson Beck will probably be coming out. We got Archie Manning coming out. People are really starting to go all in on Tank for Archie.
Yeah.
You got guys like Sam Levitt who will probably be hitting the draft soon out of Arizona State. Drew Aller, Drew Aller as well, Cade Klubnik. So we have some guys, but there are a lot of guys in that class like Cade Klubnik, Drew Aller, even Sam Levitt that still have a lot of Archie Manning as well. They still have a lot of work to do to prove that they are even first-round draft caliber quarterbacks. So they still have a lot to prove. So I'm not really sure what this move says. I'm not super high on a guy as we stand right now going into next year's draft class. So I guess it's yet to be seen with Vegas. So it's going to be, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, we're super.
To sum it up.
we're super excited for the draft, and be sure to tune into the WSN special draft show on Thursday, April 24th, starting at 8 p.m. We will be covering the entire first round of the draft, so get that here, you guys. NFL has also come out with some regulation changes. So the chain gang is no longer going to be used for first downs. They're moving over to a camera-based technology. How do we feel about this change?
I mean, I think the whole point of it is to be more accurate, and they're using the Hawkeye system. I've actually seen this Hawkeye system has been installed around a lot of professional sports, a lot in softball, a lot in baseball. I kind of like how the Hawkeye system works, and I think they're just trying to pinpoint everything to be more accurate. I mean, of course, chain gang's still going to be there.
Yeah, just in another capacity.
It's just, they're just trying to I think the whole thing is let's narrow all this error down because, I mean, you've seen the calls in the past to where, it's this much short of it and they go that. They throw the arm up and it's first down. And so, yeah, I don't have anything against it. I think it's not a bad decision, and I like the Hawkeye system.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised it's taken this long for the
me too.
league to do this because I feel like we've had the technology for a while now to just be able to make it this is where the ball is. This is a first down. Look at what the UFL's doing. They're basically using it we know exactly where the ball went. So I think that it's good for that. But I am glad that we still kind of have the chain gang.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Me too.
Because friend of the show, Big Pat, he works on chain gang, so it's good to know that he will still be employed.
Right. And I like the fact that we're still having a chain gang too. Seeing the chain gang on the sideline is just part of football. It'd feel weird without them. Yeah. But I am glad they are moving to this Hawkeye View system or whatever it's called.
Hawkeye,
yeah, the Hawkeye system. I really like this. It's going to help slim down the margin margin for error and just really get us pinpoint accurate placement of the ball, because they have all these fancy replays and everything when trying to see what's a catch or what's not. We still know what a catch is.
Yeah.
They can really zoom. They are very good at pinpointing when a guy was 1 yard short of scoring a touchdown. So it's about time they got with the program and can see if it's a first down or not.
Yeah, I think that's a common theme across all sports and all leagues is we've had the technology for so long. Why is it taking so long? And we clearly have the money for it if we're paying Geno Smith $85 million.
Oh, the NFL ain't worried about no money.
Yeah,
they got the money to do anything. They could buy me. Ooh, never mind. Let me not say that.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how the technology will continue to change leagues across the sports world. But the FIFA organization has just announced that the U.S. will host the FIFA Women's Cup in 2031. And when I first saw this, I was like, oh, 2031, that's like a really long time away. No, it's in 6 years.
Yeah, it's not.
Which is, in the big scheme of things, it's not that long.
I'll be a straight up adult, though.
Like, that's crazy.
That's kind of crazy.
Oh, wow. Oh,
But-
you said that I'll be an adult, man.
Yeah.
It'll be crazy.
Yeah, that's life.
I think
You're already kind of old now, John. What are you,
Okay.
21?
Yeah, you're the oldest one at this
I am
table.
the oldest one. Okay, let's
definitely ain't
okay,
young.
Okay,
You're not a young
This is
man.
sports news. Is not. Let's talk about John.
You're right. My bad.
Yes, but I think this is big just for the FIFA Cup in general,
Yeah.
because it's been a long time since a North American continent has hosted the FIFA Women's Cup. So I'm super excited to see what this will bring to the cities across the United States.
Yeah, I mean, women's soccer is growing a lot here in the U.S. I mean, we have the NWSL, which is getting new teams, like we talked about Colorado earlier in the semester. So I think this is very fitting to kind of lock in a big tournament. And I mean, by then the game's probably going to be even bigger. If it's not, I would be shocked. So this is a really, really good move for FIFA and just women's soccer as a whole.
Yeah, dude, soccer's really blowing up in America. You mentioned the NWSL. We have all sorts of soccer leagues all around. And the World Cup is actually going to be in North America in 2026, the Men's World Cup.
Yeah.
So we're going to get a bit of a preview of what this is going to look like in 2026. That event is going to be huge. A few of the games are going to be played in Atlanta, and others across this country, Canada, and Mexico. It's going to be crazy to see. So the fact that that's going to be back again in 2031 is going to be incredible. And we haven't even mentioned the fact that the Arthur Blank facility is opening up over in Fayette County, Georgia. And U.S. soccer as a whole, the U.S. Soccer Federation is moving their headquarters from Chicago to Georgia, where they will be. Gosh, I'm struggling today in the Fayetteville area. So it's gonna be very cool to see how that expansion impacts us as a whole.
Yeah, that's in your stomping grounds, Richard.
That's a 5-minute drive.
I'm about to say.
Yes, there you
5-minute
go.
drive.
Dude, he's going to be on the friggin' World Cup team, too.
Crazy. Yes. All the things.
I'm not the best soccer player in the world, but you'll see me in other
get you
events. Like I
coached
said,
up.
I'll be in the Masters in about 10 years.
Yes.
I'll be there.
I do want to shift to some college softball. There has been so many upsets over the last week. Schrader, we have your number 10 Florida State beating number 2 Florida, which is just crazy, and then in a 4-0 shutout win, which is insane.
That's what we do. Yeah.
And then we also had unranked Mercer beat number 16 Georgia.
It's hard to nail. It's hard to nail down the exact thing, but I just
Yeah, John, what happened?
So yesterday this game was looked upon as, hey, we're gonna give a lot of starters rest, and they put in it was, hold on, I got it right here. It was Rachel Gibson. She was a transfer from Clemson, starting pitcher. She's not bad. She just got very unlucky in the first 2 innings and just gave up a couple runs, and then rain delay. Rain delay happens, lightning and all that. And then they just came back, and Mercer the bats are still alive, and props to Mercer for doing that. Death alarm got
Sorry
me
about
there.
that. Had an alarm set. Sorry about that.
And then, they obviously Rachel was pulled. They put in their ace and Lily Backus, and she had an okay performance. And then Mercer's bats were still alive. Georgia had some moments, and Randy Roing, their ace B, came in. Unfortunately, the deal is not done. I mean, they try hard, but props to Mercer, props to their coaching staff. They have a lot of very young players from the coach staff. 2 players from Florida State, I think, from their early teams, earlier on in the early 2000s. So at the end of the day, props to them, but it was just tough for Georgia.
Yeah, and we can't talk about college softball without talking about the Tennessee pitcher, Carlin Pickens. She set the highest speed pitch record at 78.2 miles per hour. And
it's insane.
It's crazy.
I've seen it.
That's pretty darn speedy.
It's crazy because the previous record was also held by a Lady Vole from 2012 at 77 miles per hour by Monica Abbott. So, I mean, another
it's insane to see.
mile per
I've
hour.
seen it, and it's her off speed's in the 60s. which that's your
That's pretty
usual
good.
fastball for most pitchers. But when your fastball is 78.2, holy
Yeah, I mean,
smokes, holy Toledo.
Softball pitching in general is just crazy because they have the riser. Like the way they pitch it, the ball goes up, which is
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's
awesome.
Crazy. But also, I mean, Tennessee's on fire in terms of their softball and baseball because their baseball pitcher, Ben Joyce from 2022, he also holds the fastest pitch record in college baseball at 105.5 miles per hour.
I remember when he did that. It
Isn't
was like
that insane?
That.
He's on the Angels now, I think.
Dude,
Yeah,
they're juicing up there in Knoxville, bro. As long as it doesn't translate over in the fall to football season, I'm just fine.
I
with
like
that.
the way you think.
Dude, if I see Nico throwing 100-yard and 100-yard pass dead on the money from end zone to end zone, I'm suing the University of Tennessee. But stay tuned. We're going to take a quick ad break. But when we get back, we're going to dive into some MLB and talk some NFL.
Don't worry, there's a lot going on in the sports world. Catch Sports Pack on Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. on Wolf Sports Network for all the sports updates you need. The Wolves play here.
Hey, do you want to be a part of Wolf Sports Network? Yeah! Well, I have some good news for you because you can join us. Woohoo! So if you want to learn more about this, go to wolfsportsnetwork.com and click WIT Sports Program. With becoming a WIT, you expand your knowledge in the sports radio world and join our ever-growing family.
New face over there. You're not tripping. We got my guy JT over here shadowing the board. He's running through a WIT program right now. Brandon, how you feeling, baby? Welcome to Sports
I'm feeling
Pack.
great being on here for the first time.
And we can't wait to meet you once you join us.
Wolf Sports Network and Wolf Radio are coming together for the concert event of the year. Wolfstock, baby! That's right, Wolfstock is back with great music and fun games and a great time for everyone around. April 21st, 6 to 9 in the Campus Center Ballroom. So come out for a good time. Wolfstock 2025 is brought to you by Flagship Carrollton, Dine West, The Orchard, Illuminated Productions, and American Pie Pizzeria. Sports fans, are you looking for a show where you can see other sports fans sharing in your misery and excitement? Then Sports Out of Pocket is for you, because we're fans too, and we experience our highs.
Hugh Berdegine is not a safety. He's just a corner who will lock down your number one.
And our lows.
Trayshawn Ward. Screw you, buddy. You were on our team last year, and you gave us no mercy, okay?
So join us every Wednesday at 5 to cheer and boo along with us, only on Wolf Sports Network. Wolf Sports Network is going to have you covered with content for every day of the week, Monday through Friday. Sports Pack is bringing you all the news in the sports world today on Mondays and Thursdays at 6. Sports Out of Pocket is bringing you sports commentary with a comedic twist on Wednesdays at 5. And sit back and relax and grab your favorite snack, because Triple Threat is bringing you the chill content on Fridays at 11. And the Playbook is going to be bringing you all of the sports news going on in the college world on Tuesdays at 6. So make sure you're tuning in Monday through Friday for all the content Wolf Sports Network is bringing you this semester.
Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to help reduce the 21% of adults with low literacy skills. We are collecting new and gently used books for every UWG pre-K student monthly. Give today by visiting wolfradio.com/bookdrive. That is wolfradio.com/bookdrive. In a recent survey, almost 53% of full-time college students ages 18 to 22 drank alcohol in the past month. That is why the Crafty Rabbit Meadery has joined Wolf Sports Network and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaign, reminding you, yes you, that there is no drinking under the age of 21, to never drink and drive even if it's only one beer, and to add food and water when drinking so you don't end up texting your ex. Trust me, hardly anything good ever comes of that. There are outliers. Now, there are outliers, but majority of the time, it's not going to be a good
98% of the time.
I've lived in that 2%. Which means know your limits. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into this here. Before we get started, I'd like to read off a few numbers for you. 7-4, 4-3, 1-0, 5-0,
4-2, we up, baby.
6-1, 3-1, and 6-5. If you're wondering what these numbers are, those are the scores of the first 7 games played by your Atlanta Braves.
Not mine.
Who have started off this MLB season 0-7. Let me give you one more stat before I let Steven loose here. By the way, welcome to Sports Pack, Steven. It's good to have you back.
What's going on, everybody?
There has never been a team in MLB history to start off 0-7 and go on to make the playoffs.
I can hear the anger from
Steven.
Steven.
You
gotta
already.
make history,
Holy
right?
Toledo.
Steven Lambert, I want to start with you. You are arguably one of the biggest Braves fan. You're probably the biggest Braves fan that I know.
Oh yeah.
How do you feel about the start of the season, man?
It sucks. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This has been a disaster of a start for the Atlanta Braves. I just listen. I just gotta say this real quick. Whoever decided to put us at this start of our schedule, like, to just put us against the Padres and the Dodgers.
4 games against the Padres and 3 against the Dodgers.
Here's some other numbers to just throw out there. You throw out all the scores for all those games. Let's throw out more. Let's throw out 2 more stats right here: 7-0 and 8-0. That's the Padres and the Dodgers. Both of them are still undefeated. I thought the Padres, the next team that they were going to play, was going to have some trouble. They ended up sweeping the Guardians, who are not a bad team themselves. But there's no excuse to be had here. The offense has been awful, and it's not coming from guys that we expected, like Nick Allen. We've had to start a couple of games here. We've had to start a couple of games with Fairchild.
Now
Brian
De
De
La
La Cruz
yeah.
not really getting it up, but it's not just those guys. You got to go after guys like Michael Harris, who's had a very slow start to the season. Riley looks lost. Riley is now, I think he just got above 100. He kind of showed some signs of life in the game yesterday, but again, struck out with bases loaded, nobody out. Olsen's had signs of life yesterday, but Olsen's also had a very slow start to the season. Ozuna's just getting walked. Ozuna has 27 plate appearances and has been walked 13 times.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody's pitching to him, so they're pitching around the Big Bear, but this offense has just been awful. The bullpen's disastrous. Raisel Iglesias came in last night, gave up 3 runs. It's just everything that can go wrong for this Braves team has already gone wrong, and let's not even mention the fact that Jurickson Profar is out for 80 days with PEDs.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation to be had.
Horrible. It's just anything that's gone wrong has gone wrong for this Braves team.
John?
I'm just disappointed. I've been, I didn't expect it to be like this right away. Obviously, you bring in Profar, you think, wow, dang, this is like one heck of a signing. Then we get a guy like Verdugo at the end. We have him down there in AAA, but it's crumbled. The cookies crumbled. You toast a waffle, turns out soggy. That's what it feels like. It feels like a soggy waffle.
Toast a waffle, it turns out soggy.
That's the best way to sum this team up right now.
Toast a waffle, and it comes out soggy.
Soggy waffle.
That's the best
now
way
I'm
to
just
sum
thinking,
this
what's
team up.
worse, a soggy waffle or a wet blanket? Schrader, you got any thoughts before I pivot here?
I mean, it's been a great week for me. Yeah, this Braves team, it's been brutal. That's wild, John. But 0-7's not great, like y'all said earlier.
That's the worst case scenario.
I've heard. Well, I mean, you look at it and you say, oh, we're just starting slow. But if this team wants to make the playoffs now, which is kind of wild that we're having this conversation 7 games into the season, they're going to have to do something no one's ever done before.
Right.
Very much
and you say, well, if there's a team that's going to do it, it's us. There is nothing that this team has shown me this year that says that. This
100%.
team is playing like an 0-7 baseball team. So they have to fix a lot. And you can say we have Acuna coming back. They have Strider coming back.
I'm not saying that.
Acuna's going to take probably a month after he gets back to really heat up and get back into the swing of things and to be able to play like the Acuna we know, if he can still do that, right? I mean, he's coming off his 2nd torn ACL. He probably won't be quite the same guy that he was. Right. And then you have Strider coming back. But he's only, even if he starts red hot, he's only going to do that once every 5 games. So they're really going to have to figure out what in the world's going on and how they can fix it.
Yeah, the Atlanta Braves really have a lot to figure out. But let's take a step outside of the Atlanta Braves, because I'm sure you all could talk about the Braves all day.
Oh, 100%.
But there's no baseball
100%.
being played.
Yep.
So far, Braves have played 7. Some teams have played around 8 games or so. Who would you all say have been the most impressive teams in baseball so far? And I'm just going to say you can't say the Dodgers. Let me just say that. Can't say the Dodgers.
Well, let's just talk about the team that's also undefeated that's in the NL West. Let's talk about the Padres.
Yeah.
The Padres, Jackson Merrill is a superstar,
He
man.
just got a bag, too.
My goodness. On
Oh,
extension
my
day,
gosh.
he hit a home run for the Padres. Jackson Merrill has been an unbelievable add to this Padres. That's just, he came in last year and he set the world on fire. People were thinking that he was, not going to be as great this year, but he has just started off the season red hot. I think he's still hitting just above 400. He's hitting for power. It feels like every game he's just on base. He's just giving the Padres a lot of production right now.
John, who you like?
For me, I think it's been the turnaround so far at the start of the season for the Angels. Obviously, Mike Trout's back. You got him hitting home runs, and just Ron Washington starting off the season actually kind of just a little bit hot, and it's just good to see for Ron Washington. Please come back to Atlanta. But anyways, you know, I honestly for the team that they built over the offseason and for Mike Trout to be out there and hit that home run and all that, I'm kind of liking what the Angels have done out there.
You know, it's about time the Angels are looking half decent. I feel like the Angels have been terrible for so long. Maybe it's just me, but it's just been Mike Trout and a bunch of guys like myself out there with them for about
Shohei
10
was a part
years.
of that team.
They had Shohei.
Shohei was part of that team, and he got up out of there quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one team that I'm looking at is they started off kind of slow, but they started off way before everybody, and that's the Cubs. The Cubs had a tough first 4 games, but man, they just absolutely swept the Athletics in Sacramento, which I just don't like saying. But like when I say swept, I mean it was double-digit runs. And they just weren't close. I mean, they were hitting them out of that ballpark left and right. So they looked really impressive in their first or second kind of like real series of the year.
Now, before Steven, were you about to say something there?
Oh, just like I said, the only thing that I was just looking at the TV, and the fact that the NL West right now has 8-0, 7-0, and San Francisco Giants is another team.
Yeah. Like, go to the AL Central.
Where is the AL? Got the AL.
You'll
Central.
see a lot of 2 and 4.
That's
what a division.
Hey,
the White Sox are on top.
We need to throw the Braves in there.
Yeah, like hey, we're still in the division if that's the case. But yeah, the Giants are another team that's just like setting the world on fire to start it off. I mean, they've got some great people in that lineup as well.
What a division the NL West is, man.
Yeah, man, it's definitely a fight in that division, and like you said, man. Like, even the Diamondbacks, man. You got to watch out them out, too,
Ketel
man.
Marte getting that huge contract. It was a 6-year contract over...
6-year...
170 plus, maybe?
Something like that.
Yeah. Something like that.
More money than I'll ever make.
I see your Marlins sitting at around 4-3 right now. What's up with that?
Hey, it ain't going to last long, but I am loving that,
Gotta love it, man.
What about the Marlins has impressed you so far? Because I know preseason you weren't really expecting much.
Yeah, really, it's been the ability to just, like... They play a really aggressive brand of baseball. They steal bases, right? If there's an opportunity to just go home, they're gonna send the guy. And their ability to really like actually close out a game. I mean, we had 3 walk-off wins. Our first 3 wins were all awesome. Walk-offs, which is crazy.
That's
and
history,
one of them first since 2003. But one of them was just on an errant pitch. But that guy, he was on first, a wild pitch, and a bad throw took him all the way to third, and then the next pitch was just a wild pitch he took home. So it's just like heads up base running and just grit. I mean, you can have the fish on the line, but we're gonna break the line if we can.
Steven, you look like a proud dad right now when you were talking about the Marlins.
Man, it's like I said, man.
Dude,
if there's one team,
places. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's
paradoxical.
This is the difference between me and him is the fact that he can't stand the Braves at all.
I cannot
stand the Braves. I feel bad for the Marlins. I have felt bad for the Marlins.
Which just shows where we are as a franchise.
Yeah, so I'm just
I pity the Marlins.
If they have some success, I'm happy for them.
I completely understand that. You guys are hilarious. Steven, thanks again for coming on the show. But John, we got some NFL to talk. In the NFL, only one thing matters. Chasing a dynasty. Thanks, Steven tried to take off his headset and escape us already.
Thank you for being on the show. I thought he was leaving.
Oh,
we didn't get him for that long.
I was just thanking you for coming on. You're on for this entire section until this next ad break.
Hey, bro, awesome.
But before we get to that ad break, we got some pretty decent-sized news coming out of Dallas, Texas, as the Cowboys got a little bit aggressive. We got to see a little bit of what Jerry Jones was thinking, or at least what I think Jerry Jones is thinking. I'm not too sure what Jerry Jones is thinking about 90% of the time.
Sleeping, bro.
Exactly. I feel like he just wakes up off the couch. All right, here we go. Press the button. Exactly. Threatens to fire a radio host every now and again in Dallas, and then like, all right, let's make a move here.
Richard, be
they
careful.
Went out,
he might try to get you fired.
I wish Jerry Jones would. So today, Jerry Jones went out and traded for Joe Milton, the Patriots' backup quarterback, former quarterback at the University of Tennessee, transferred over from Michigan. Last year, he was a 4th, 5th round draft pick coming out of the University of Tennessee.
A 7th
round draft pick. Wow. And he drafted by the New England Patriots. He was the backup to Drake May for the latter part of the season. And the last game of the year, he was thrown into the fire against the Buffalo Bills, where he put together an amazing performance, showing a lot of people that he could be a very capable starting quarterback in the NFL. And I was surprised a lot more teams didn't come after him trying to trade for him. And of all teams to do it, it was the Dallas Cowboys, who currently have Dak Prescott, who is coming off of a procedure that ended his season last year.
Again.
So what this just has me thinking is, does this mean Dak Prescott is on a bit of a short leash now they brought in a guy like Joe Milton? Steven, what are your thoughts?
I think, listen, first off, I love the move. I love that Dallas went out and got themselves a solid backup QB with Joe Milton. Like you said, he showed a lot of promise last year with that game against Buffalo. Yep. Joe Milton is a guy that can, you give him a chance, I feel like Joe Milton can be a solid QB.
He really can.
I feel like this is not – I don't feel like Dak Prescott's on like a short leash or anything like that. I don't think he's going to be like if something goes wrong. Dude, they paid him way too much money for them to sit there.
There's a lot of money on the table to say that's a short leash.
They're giving Dak Prescott like the full reins, but I feel like this is just a break glass just in case of emergency type scenario to where Dak Prescott, if there's one thing about him, injury prone, man, not been healthy. Like it's tough for him to stay healthy throughout an entire season. So they're like, okay, fine, let's go get a backup QB. So just in case that happens, we got a guy that can still lead this football team.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good solid move. I mean, they only gave up a 5th-round pick, which most likely isn't going to turn into anything crazy. But with the Cowboys, like, it might be the next GOAT. But I look at this move, and I think it's really just filling the missing piece that was Cooper Rush. Because when you have a quarterback like Dak Prescott, when Dak Prescott's playing his best, he's a great quarterback. I don't know if he's quite worth the $240 million that they're paying him, but is a great quarterback. The issue is it's when he's not hurt. This team has really, you always need a great backup quarterback in Dallas, even if you go back to the Romo years. I mean, that's how Dak got started. So I'm almost wondering if we're looking at that cycle of, could Dak be the next Romo if he gets hurt and Milton goes in? There could be no looking back with the potential that Milton has, because he can throw that football farther than I will ever go in life.
Airmail that.
100%.
Dude, Joe Milton has arguably the strongest arm in the NFL right now. He's right up there with guys like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes. He can outright sling it. He is pinpoint accurate on his deep balls as well. The main knock on Joe Milton coming out of college was, outside the big arm, what is there? Yes, he's really athletic. He runs a 4.5 40. He can get it done with his legs. He showed it in his run with the Patriots this past season. The problem was his short to intermediate game. He had times struggled to read defenses. You throw zone coverage at him, he's a deer in the headlights. But in that game against the Buffalo Bills, I know what you're thinking, it was the last game of the season. Buffalo Bills probably sat a lot of starters. They sat a few, but their primary starting defense was on the field. And Joe Milton went 22 for 29, completing 75% of his passes for 241 yards, 8.3 yards per attempt, and 1 touchdown with an 111 passer rating. He was incredible.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not bad at all. It was great.
That's really good. The thing with Joe Milton is he's very much so that Anthony Richardson type of player. He can throw the ball a mile. He's a big guy. He's not small by any means.
Yeah, he's 6'6", 248.
Exactly. But you look at that and you say he can throw that ball really far. But like you said, what else is there?
Right, and that's the main thing. In this game, he showed us what he could be. Now, like I said, it's a one-game serving. Exactly, it's a one-game serving size, and that's why I really don't mind that Dallas did this, bringing him in as a backup. Get a chance to look at him in practice, see how things go. If the season isn't going very great and Dak Prescott isn't really showing that he can be the guy for this team that he has been in years past, why not move on from him? I understand the big price tag on him. But look, man, we've seen a team
they saved some money though. They did.
Anthony Richardson didn't get CeeDee Lamb, so.
And listen, and I'm gonna tell you this too. We saw this past season a team like the Atlanta Falcons move on from a guy in Kirk Cousins that had a very big dollar sign on him. Money is nothing to these NFL owners. It sounds like a lot of money to us, but I learned with this whole Kirk Cousins situation, the fact that they didn't trade him, they just kept that contract on there. That $100 million ain't nothing to them. So if Dak Prescott is not getting it done and Joe Milton is impressive in practice, I would not be surprised to see the Dallas Cowboys pivot to Joe, and I'm all in. I love Joe Milton. He's huge. He's fun to watch. I'm honestly surprised the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't try to get him.
It's just also the fact that I feel like Jerry Jones just has like a special place in his heart for Dak Prescott, or else they wouldn't have offered him that much money. I feel like Jerry Jones, like, he wants Dak Prescott to be the starting quarterback, and like that's just kind of where it's at right now. But like you said, man, Joe Milton is a guy that I've always had faith in, because like you remember his volunteer days, he was lighting the world on fire.
Especially that year when Hendon Hooker went down, he came in and was lights out.
Unbelievable. It was just that injury. What was it? A torn ACL, I believe.
Hendon Hooker's torn ACL. Against South Carolina.
Hendon Hooker tore his ACL one season, and that's when that ended his Heisman dreams. I would have voted him for the Heisman. Then Joe Milton came in and was great the rest of the year.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, is like nobody really gave him a shot because Joe Milton was going into that draft with like a lot of other quarterbacks above him. I feel like if somebody will just give him an opportunity, like I feel like he can be that QB like that was against Buffalo, but like it remains to be seen.
Yeah, only time will really tell here. But now that we've talked about this, a lot of people were saying that the Dallas Cowboys may go after a quarterback in the draft, get a backup for a guy like Dak Prescott if Shedeur Sanders was to slip. But now they've went out and grabbed Joe Milton. So when looking forward and thinking about the NFL draft, let me just clarify. I was not one of those guys. I didn't think they were going to go out and draft a quarterback. I thought that would have been stupid. But some people were having that conversation. But now that conversation is being put to bed, the Cowboys still sit with the 12th overall pick. How do you all think this kind of changes the Cowboys draft approach? What kind of moves do you think the Cowboys need to make to help improve this team that was very flawed last season?
I mean, you lost the guard in Zach Martin, a huge piece of the offensive line, but at the same time, you need a wide receiver. I feel like because it's not that you have CeeDee Lamb; he's an absolute stud, but you can't.
But who else?
But you can't just keep throwing to CeeDee Lamb.
Right, they have no one else.
I mean, and for me, I think it's you either go wide receiver or you go offensive guard. You got to replace. Yeah, you're either going to spend money getting a guard in the offseason or you're going to have to replace him with someone who has the same upside as Joe Alt when the Chargers drafted him. So I think for me personally, I think you got to go offensive guard here.
Yeah, I like the wide receiver, just to kind of switch it up a little bit, but stay in state and go get Matthew Golden. I think that's a guy that could really help the receiving core. I mean, if you're going to bring in, Joe Milton or you want Dak Prescott to succeed, you need more than CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's great, but we saw just what happens when he's all you got.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Like this entire time, I thought I knew what the Cowboys were going to do, but then they kind of switched things up on me because if I'm not wrong, I haven't kept up with a lot of free agency, but they went and got a running back in the offseason, right?
Yeah, they did. They got who was it? Javonte Williams, I want to say.
Yeah, it was
from
Javonte.
Denver.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
They went and got Javonte because I thought this entire time that Ashton Genty was going to be a Dallas Cowboy. That's what I really thought was going to happen.
Yeah. Schrader recently sold me on him being a Bear, though.
Yeah,
so
he's a Bear. Switching things up, I kind of agree with you. It's like I feel like you have to solidify that receiving core because CeeDee Lamb can't do everything on his own. Like, who else you got? Brandon Cooks? I don't even know if he's still with the Cowboys.
I don't think he is. I think he went back to New England, didn't he?
It's like you said.
He's gone.
That's one heck of a question.
Yeah, he's somewhere.
You don't even know what else is in that Cowboy receiving core. So like you said, Matthew Golden seems like a good pick for the Cowboys to really solidify that receiving core.
I'm with you all 100%. John, you're right. Offensive line is an issue. What are you saying?
Brandon Cooks is now on the Saints.
Okay, so he did go back to the Saints.
Fantastic.
He was on the Saints. He was on the Saints teams that got screwed by the Rams.
Can't wait to.
I remember he was either went back to the Patriots or the Saints. I just couldn't remember this one. So yeah, Brandon Cooks is gone as well, and his Cowboys tenure wasn't what a lot of people like myself thought it was going to be. But looking at this draft class, I'm with you all. They need to sturdy up that offensive line. We'll see what they have in house because they haven't made any free agency moves. But I'm also looking at this wide receiver room. And a lot of people have a guy by the name of Ted McMillan, who I have as the number one receiver in this class. They have him slipping out of the top 10. And if he is available around that 12 spot that the Dallas Cowboys are picking in, I am all in on the Dallas Cowboys going out and grabbing a guy in Ted McMillan, pairing him up with CeeDee Lamb. Because if you're going to bring in a guy like Joe Milton to compete with Dak Prescott, you got to at least give Dak a chance or set Joe Milton up for success. And you can't do that by only having one wide receiver.
Yeah.
So if Ted McMillan slides, I say get Ted McMillan. Pair CeeDee Lamb, arguably the best route runner in all of football, up with the 6'5" wide receiver with great 4.5 speed that can go up and catch a contested ball over anybody. A lot of people are comparing him to Drake London. Pairing McMillan up with CeeDee Lamb, that will be a match made in heaven. Now stay tuned. We're going to take a quick song break, but you do not want to go anywhere because when we get back, we are making our Final Four predictions. Stay tuned. This is Sports Pack on Wolf Sports Network.
You are listening to Sports Pack here on Wolf Sports Network, your home for all things UWG athletics.
Hey, do you want to be a part of Wolf Sports Network? Yeah! Well, I have some good news for you because you can join us. Woohoo! So if you want to learn more about this, go to wolfsportsnetwork.com and click WIT Sports Program. With becoming a WIT, you expand your knowledge in the sports radio world and join our ever-growing family.
New face over there, you're not tripping. We got my guy JT over here shadowing the board. He's running through a WIT program right now. Brandon, how you feeling, baby? Welcome to Sports Pack.
I'm feeling great being on here for the first time.
And we can't wait to meet you once you join us.
Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are bringing you Wolf Stock 2025 with great performances from Bliss, The Ties That Bind, and Eva Rose and David Pippin. Wolf Stock 2025 is brought to you by Flagship Carrollton, Dine West, The Orchard, Illuminated Productions, and American Pie Pizzeria. So don't miss out on the concert event of the year, April 21st from 6 to 9 p.m. in the Campus Center Ballroom.
Well, first we were a podcast to Wolf Sports Network's newest podcast. Then we turned into a live show.
Welcome back to episode 2 of the Triple Threat live show.
And this semester is our final ride. But don't worry, we're not going to stop with the action. From our debates in triple play and the best snake drops across the nation.
Dude, that's everybody's
Guess who's going first as my tight end? Brock Bowers.
No!
You don't want to miss out, so tune in every Friday from 11 to 12 only on Wolf Sports Network.
Wolf Sports Network is going to have you covered with content for every day of the week, Monday through Friday. Sports Pack is bringing you all the news in the sports world today on Mondays and Thursdays at 6. Sports Out of Pocket is bringing you sports commentary with a comedic twist on Wednesdays at 5. And sit back and relax and grab your favorite snack because Triple Threat is bringing you the chill content on Fridays at 11. And the Playbook is going to be bringing you all of the sports news going on in the college world on Tuesdays at 6. So make sure you're tuning in Monday through Friday for all the content Wolf Sports Network is bringing you this semester.
Wolf Sports Network is looking to be the best in national and international awards for a third year. Our success and experiences are made possible by Westwoods Apartments, the only off-campus housing that is 100% student living. That's right. Westwoods is now 100% student living.
100.
No living with your mom or little kids.
Nuh-uh.
More information is located at livewestwoods.com and at livewestwoods on Instagram. That is live, L-I-V-E, westwoods.com and at livewestwoods on Instagram.
Boom.
Starbucks has all the deals this semester. Deals like BOGO on the penguin cookie.
BOGO.
Yes, sir. And up to 50% off on all Starbucks tumblers.
50.
And a happy hour on Fridays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. for 50% off all refreshers and cake
That
pops.
makes me happy.
Man, I'm finna be in there tomorrow. So be sure to go by Starbucks for all your dining needs. Let's talk some college hoops. Woo! We got us a jam-packed weekend of college basketball on the way. But a lot of people forget, man, it's not just the men's tournament going on right now. And I shouldn't even say a lot of people forget, because a lot of people have not been forgetting recently, because women's basketball, especially women's college basketball, has been on the rise in recent years. And the Final Four is tomorrow night, starting off with another SEC rematch between the number 1 ranked South Carolina Gamecocks and another 1 seed, the Texas Longhorns. These teams played against each other a number of times throughout this season, going back and forth. I want to say South Carolina won twice and Texas won once, if I'm not mistaken. I know Texas won their most recent matchup in the SEC tournament, though. So, big-time matchup. Two teams that are very familiar with one another. Jackson Schrader, I want to start with you. Who you got, the Gamecocks or the Longhorns, moving on to the national championship?
I'm gonna go with the Gamecocks. I mean, it's kind of all reliable when you're looking at college basketball. I mean, their coach, she's one heck of a basketball coach.
Staley.
Dude,
Dawn Staley.
Staley is such a good basketball coach. So really, I mean, history tells me South Carolina, so I'm gonna go with the Gamecocks.
Carly?
You know, I have loved seeing the Gamecocks' success over the last couple of years, but I really love this Texas team. I mean, leading them is Madison Booker, and she is just insane of a basketball player, so I would love to see Texas moving on.
No.
Oh, wow. Look, I've said it before. I've had South Carolina as my champion the past few years when I do my women's bracket, so I'm riding with the Gamecocks. You know, I think the program they have there is outstanding for how much they win and just, you know, in that many years. And really, Staley, she's one heck of a coach.
Yeah.
And I would
She
really
is one heck of a coach.
I'm about to say, I want to see the Gamecocks win to, you know, help my bracket and everything. So, yeah, go Gamecocks, I guess.
I'm going to say this. I love Coach Dawn Staley and what she's done up there with the South Carolina Gamecocks. It has been incredible to watch in recent years. They have been dominant. They've been dominant this year as well. But they've worried me a few times throughout this tournament. That game against Duke was very close going into the end of the fourth quarter. Duke had a few chances to win that game, along with that game against Maryland. The game against Iowa was very close for a lot of it, too. South Carolina has been getting by the skin of their teeth a lot during this tournament. And one team that I know for a fact that is not afraid of a close game and can go out and win a close game is these Texas Longhorns, coached by head coach Vic Schaefer, who will go out and die for his team. He gave an amazing speech after their win against TCU in the Elite Eight that really rallied me behind this team. I've liked them throughout the entire year. Like I said, South Carolina beat them twice. They won the most recent matchup. And I think the Texas Longhorns keep it going by upsetting the South Carolina Gamecocks, surprising the nation, and moving on to the national title game, where they will face the winner of the UCLA Bruins and the UConn Huskies. John, I'm starting with you.
Okay.
Who you got, UConn or UCLA?
Man, you know what? Look, I'll say this for the record. For the bracket, I got UCLA, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if UConn wins. They've been on fire. I mean, this is the UConn you would think. You see UConn, all the way deep in the tournament to the Final Four. This is UConn you always heard of back then. And for Paige Buckets, right? Or that's what it's called.
Paige Buckets.
She just dropping buckets out there. So to see what she's doing out there is insane. But I'm going to stick with the Bruins on this one. This is what I got picked for my bracket, but I know this is going to be one awesome game to watch.
Yeah, I mean, UConn's pretty darn good at basketball.
All the time.
Yeah.
And they have been lighting this tournament up. I mean, there have been their closest game this tournament's been a 14-point win. So I'm going to go UConn here.
Carly?
I'm all for choosing, I guess, the underdog today. I'm also going to go with you, John, with UCLA.
Yeah.
I really like this UConn team.
I thought you mispronounced UConn
That's
and
what
said
I was like.
John. I was like, what's going on?
Oh, no.
I had to say that, but keep going.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I'm going to have to stick with UCLA just because I really like this team, and I like that they're the underdog. And, I like this UConn team as well. I mean, you do have Paige Buckets. However,
Buckets.
I don't know. I just think we're going to see something that we didn't expect.
Listen,
Richard, who you got?
I'm listening.
I disagree.
I like you, Richard.
I believe the UConn Huskies are the best team in the country this year, led
Smart
by
fella.
Paige Beckers, a.k.a. Paige Buckets, averaging 20 points per game. Sarah Strong holding it down, bringing in 8 rebounds per game, along with 16 points. And Ozzie Foote averaging 13 points a game. But outside that top 3, they have girls up and down this roster that can explode and drop 25. And now that they are all healthy, all playing in sync, I believe they are the best team in the nation. We've seen them make deep runs years like last year, shorthanded, only with a 6-7 girl rotation. But now that everyone is healthy, Paige, Sarah, and Ozzie, and all the rest of the girls on this roster, I don't think anyone is stopping the UConn Huskies. I got them beating UCLA, and I got them going on to beat the Texas Longhorns in the national title game because I do not think Texas can make enough three-pointers to keep up with the UConn Huskies. Those are my 2 picks. Now let's pivot over to the men's tournament where the first game, actually, we're not going to talk about the first game yet. Carly wants to save her precious Auburn Tigers for the latter half of the show, which I respect. She will be in Auburn next year in grad school. So let's start with the Duke Blue Devils versus the Houston Cougars. Jackson Schrader.
That's my name.
The ball's in your court. Who you got for this game, Houston or Duke?
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams have been very, very impressive, but I really like Duke. I just think the way Cooper Flagg's been playing and the way that this team has played without Cooper Flagg, because they did not have Cooper Flagg for part of this tournament.
Yep.
So just the way that team was able to play without him, now the way they're playing with him, I mean, they absolutely beat down a talented Alabama team. And Houston, I mean, that's the other problem. Houston's doing the same thing on the other side of the bracket. Right. But I really like Duke, and I almost feel like they're due for a title. It's been 10 years. Duke's due for a title.
It's tough. This is a game that is gonna be nothing short of exciting, and but my pick here, it's gonna be Duke. I mean, I was watching some tournament highlights this morning on Instagram just from Cooper Flagg and Duke, and just the way they play is insane. And just a guy like Cooper Flagg, now there's nothing short of how good Houston is. I love the way that they play defense and everything. Their coach is awesome. That's one thing you talked about way earlier on this semester, talking about how Houston has really good defense. So it's just gonna be a really good head-to-head Titan clash. But I got the Blue Devils winning this one.
I guess I'm still going with the underdogs right now.
There
You know,
go. Smart decision.
I'm gonna have to go with Houston on this one. It's really hard, and I think a lot of people have Duke winning, so I think this will be really interesting in terms of seeing how people's brackets turn out because of this game. However, I do think Houston has a lot more of the experience and the physicality that they need to win this game, and with Duke being relatively young, I think they have the opportunity to knock them off.
Carly Ray Pear, I could not have said it.
Just drop my legal name.
I couldn't have said it better
The government name is wild.
myself. I am also going with the Houston Cougars. I am also extremely impressed with this Duke Blue Devils team.
Yeah.
I said it on the playbook earlier this week, but I believe if Duke is able to get past Houston in this game, they will without a doubt win the national championship. But I do not think they make it past Houston in this game. I can see it going either way, but I'm leaning with the experience of the Houston Cougars. They have guys like L.J. Cryer, who has already won a national championship a few years back with the Baylor Bears. Emmanuel Sharp, Milos Uzan, Juwan Roberts. The list of names goes on. Extremely experienced players, very well coached by head coach Kelvin Sampson. Schrader, you were talking about Duke being due. I think Houston is well overdue. They have made deep run after deep run year after year since around 2017 or 2018, and they just keep coming up short. I feel like this has to be Houston's year because if not now, then when? Kelvin Sampson and the Houston Cougars will beat the Duke Blue Devils this Saturday night, and they will do it with defense and experience and three-point shooting and what will be an all-time classic NCAA tournament game. Now, we only have a few minutes left to talk about this last game, the 6 p.m. game this Saturday. Another SEC matchup between the Auburn Tigers and the Florida Gators. Carly, I'm going to start with you. I know you're super excited for this game.
Yes, very.
Who you got, Auburn or the Gators?
So I might surprise you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm definitely not going to surprise y'all.
There's no way.
Obviously, I'm slightly biased. I'm not going to say very biased,
No,
but
you're very biased.
I do think Auburn can get it done as long as they limit Walter Clayton Jr. of Florida.
That's a lot to do.
However, we do have Janai Broom. So, I mean, he's been an absolute beast. But also, I think Florida's not the same team when Clayton has an off night, and I think if Auburn can force him to have an off night, Auburn can definitely get it done. And I think Auburn also is going to have to definitely be more accurate from the three in order to get this done, which I think they can do. I think Auburn and the whole community is, the last time we were in the Final Four, it was 2019. We lost to a false double dribble call against Virginia Tech. And I think
the fact that you remember that.
Yes, I do. I remember watching it in front of my TV with my dad.
Knows it down to the T.
Oh, yeah. So I think we are ready for our revenge. We're ready for what we deserve. And I got Auburn Tigers, baby.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it short and simple. All my homies hate UF, so give me the Tigers.
Look, my champion is Florida. And I know this SEC matchup.
How could you just pick? How could
I just pick Florida? Because they impressed me in the SEC tournament.
But it's Florida.
Yeah, but you're a Florida State fan. You hate them. I'm a Georgia fan. I hate them as well.
Aren't you supposed to hate them too?
Yeah, but I don't hate them as much as you do.
That's sad.
No.
Aspire to be like me.
Well, anyways, but these teams are nothing short of amazing. Really, with Janai Broom and Walter Clayton Jr. But really, the one thing that stands out to me is the way. Is it Alex Condon?
Alex Condon.
Alex Condon has played. I don't know if he was injured for part of the season. But for his return, he's definitely helped show up and just help create extra plays. He's obviously their main rebounder guy. He is tall, but when you have him out there and he's firing all cylinders, getting these rebounds, and obviously trying to help create the plays to get it back out to Walter Clayton Jr., then that just helps a lot. And like you said, it's going to be really hard to stop Clayton Jr. out there. But I got the Gators, and of course I have him as my champion.
The one thing I want to add really, really quick is I was reading some of our ESPN sportscasters on their analysis of both of these games, and the one thing that stood out about the people that chose like Duke and Florida to win was the only way that they could, or not the only way, but the main way that they win is if they stay the course and keep playing how they're playing. But I think Houston and Auburn are both teams that can knock off teams that have been playing the way they play and knocking them off hot streaks. So that's why I'm going with Houston and Auburn.
And I love the fact that you just said that, Carly, because that is why I'm rolling with the Houston Cougars to beat Duke and maybe even win the national title, because their defense can knock any team off their pivot and make them extremely uncomfortable. They are relentless. We just recently saw them hold Tennessee to 15 points in the first quarter, an uber talented Tennessee team. But I'm here to talk about the Auburn-Florida game. Now, I'm going to make this quick because we are running out of time. It has been a great show tonight. Extremely exciting, jam-packed, as we always are. So be sure to stay tuned going forward. But I'm going with the Florida Gators as well. They're an extremely talented team, and this is all predicated on the health of Janai Broome. I'm not sure which version of Janai Broome we're going to get. He had an ugly fall during their last round game against Michigan State. Seemed like he hyperextended his elbow. He ended up coming back into the game later on, but he was still nursing that elbow very gingerly with it. He made a three-pointer, but he really didn't seem like his aggressive self because of his elbow. Seemed like he banged up his knee a little bit too, so I'm not sure what version of Janai Broome we're going to get. I know Auburn's going to put all their efforts into limiting Walter Clayton Jr., but I feel like that's going to open things up for guys like Elijah Martin and Will Richard. It's going to be a great game nonetheless, but I am going with the Florida Gators here. I think we're going to have a Florida versus Houston national championship game, and I cannot wait to see it. Binge drinking is consuming 5 or more drinks on one occasion for males and 4 or more for females. However, some college students drink at least twice that amount. Could you imagine? That is why the Crafty Rabbit Meadery has joined forces with Wolf Sports Network and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaign to make sure that our wolves stay safe when drinking. Never drink under the age of 21 and always have a designated driver. Oh, and also, throw in some good food while you're at it. Maybe some Don West. Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are also proud to boost literacy rates with our pre-K book drive. Our ongoing book drive will provide a new or gently used book to every child at UWG's pre-K monthly. Give today by visiting wolfradio.com/book drive. Together, Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network will make a brighter future. That is wolfradio.com/book drive. Man, we really took it to the brink today. It is already 7, but let me give y'all a quick heads up. Next week, we are going under some quick renovations here at the station, so we will not have live shows for the first half of the week. There's a chance we're back Thursday, but we know for a fact Triple Threat will be live next Thursday. So keep your eye out. Keep your eye out for Sports Back Thursday night, but if not, Triple Threat will for sure be live. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a blessed day. This has been Sports Back on Wolf Sports Network.